Jason Carter opened his eyes to fire and smoke. The escape pod had torn through the alien sky like a falling star, and now it lay broken on the black sand. The red sky above looked wrong, as if it was bleeding light. Strange black trees reached upward like claws. The air burned in his chest. He coughed and pulled himself out of the pod. His suit beeped with warnings. Warning. Atmosphere unstable. Oxygen levels low. Life signs detected. Not human. Jason wiped the blood from his forehead. He was 32 years old, an engineer from Texas, and had worked on starships all his life. He had never felt so small. His ship, the Horizon, was gone. The aliens who attacked had destroyed it. He had no crew, no friends, and no way to call Earth. His survival kit lay half buried in the sand. Inside, he found a water filter, a broken communicator, some ration packs, and a small energy pistol. Not much. The ground shook. Jason froze. A low growl rolled across the plain, deep and hungry. He whispered, "Please, not yet." The scanner on his wrist lit up. Hostile signals detected. Closest one, 200 meters and closing. Jason's heart pounded. He scanned the horizon. The land stretched into rocky hills, sharp and dark, like knives pushed out of the ground. Strange plants with glowing veins twisted around the rocks. Some pulsed, as if alive. He forced himself to move. He needed shelter. Night would come soon, and this planet felt like the kind of place where night meant death. Near the base of a hill, he found the skeleton. It was not human. The skull was long and sharp, with too many teeth. The bones were blackened, as if burned. Clutched in its claws was a strange weapon half melted, but still dangerous looking. Jason picked it up carefully. It was heavier than it looked. Symbols were carved into the side, glowing faint blue. He did not know how to use it, but he knew one thing: if the alien who carried it was dead, something stronger had killed it. The growl came again, louder this time. Jason ducked behind a rock ledge. He pressed his back against the stone, gripping the alien weapon tight. He tried not to breathe too loud. Then he saw it. A shadow moved across the sand. At first, he thought it was two creatures walking together, but no, it was one. 6 legs carried a thick body, its skin dark and rough like armor. 2 red eyes glowed in its head, and sharp spines ran down its back. The creature sniffed the air. Jason's suit beeped softly. He turned it off with shaking fingers. The creature stopped. It tilted its head. Jason held his breath. His heart beat so loud he thought it would give him away. The monster screeched. The sound stabbed through his ears. It stepped closer, its claws digging into the sand. Jason aimed the alien weapon, but he didn't know if it would fire. His finger hovered over the trigger. The creature turned its head the other way. It sniffed again, then gave a rumbling growl and walked past the ledge. Jason stayed frozen. 10 seconds. 20. 30. Finally, the shadow disappeared into the hills. He let out his breath. His hands shook. He wanted to scream, but he forced himself to stay quiet. The scanner beeped again. Multiple hostile signals detected. Distance, increasing. Jason stood slowly. He looked at the black trees swaying in the wind. The sky burned red. He had never felt so far from home. He whispered to himself, "This planet wants me dead." Night began to fall. The red sky faded into dark purple, and 2 moons rose over the horizon. Their cold light washed across the plain. Jason climbed higher into the rocks. He found a narrow crack in the cliff wall, just wide enough to crawl inside. It smelled damp, but it was shelter. He set down his kit, placed the alien weapon on his lap, and sat in silence. He thought of Earth. He thought of his mother's kitchen in Dallas, the smell of coffee, the sound of a radio. He wondered if anyone even knew he was alive. The wind outside howled. Far away, he heard another screech. Jason pressed his back against the stone wall. He pulled his pistol close and closed his eyes for only a moment. The suit whispered again. Warning. Multiple life signs nearby. Movement detected. Jason's eyes shot open. His breath caught in his throat. The sound of claws scraped against the rock outside. The video would cut here, with only the sound of his heartbeat echoing in the dark. Jason whispered to himself. Day 1. I haven't even made it through the night yet. I don't know if I'll survive day 2. Jason Carter did not sleep. All through the night, he listened to the sound of claws scratching on stone. Something outside was moving back and forth, sniffing. Once, he saw a shadow slide across the cave mouth. He held his pistol tight, finger on the trigger. Hours passed. The sound finally faded when the twin suns rose. Jason crawled out of the cave. The land looked worse in daylight. Sharp rocks stretched like broken teeth across the horizon. The black trees twisted, dripping thick sap that steamed when it touched the ground. Strange insects with glass wings buzzed in swarms. He checked his wrist scanner. Battery, 60%. Food supply, 2 rations. Water, low. He whispered, I need a plan. Day 2. Jason searched for water. His suit said the air was toxic, so he kept his helmet on. After hours of walking, he found a pool at the base of a hill. The water glowed faint green. His filter hissed when he dipped it. Warning. Unknown organisms detected. Boil before drinking. Jason cursed under his breath. He had no fire. He had no safe way to boil. That night, he returned to the cave thirsty and tired. Outside, he saw glowing eyes watching him from the trees. Day 5. He had survived on ration packs and 1 sip at a time from the filter. He was weak, but he had learned the patterns of the creatures. The 6-legged hunters only came out at night. During the day, smaller things moved in packs, dog-sized lizards with sharp tails. Jason set traps using scrap metal from the escape pod. On the 5th day, one trap snapped shut, catching a lizard. Its skin was thick, but inside was meat. The taste was bitter, but he swallowed every bite. Day 5, he said into his recorder. Still alive. Still human. Day 10. Jason worked on the alien weapon. He spent hours studying the blue glowing symbols. When he pressed the center, the weapon hummed. A faint blue light stretched into the air, like a blade made of energy. He swung it at a rock, and the stone cracked in half. He laughed for the first time since the crash. But the sound carried. That night, the hunters came again. This time, they stayed close to the cave. Jason sat in the dark, holding the glowing weapon. He thought, if they come inside, it's me or them. Day 15. He moved deeper into the hills. The cave was safe, but it felt too close to the hunting grounds. He found a canyon with tall cliffs and a river running through it. The water still glowed faintly, but the filter worked better here. Jason built a shelter using broken pod parts and stone. It was small, ugly, but his. He marked the wall. Day 15. Day 18. Jason learned something new about the planet. The black trees were not just plants. At night, some of them moved. Their roots dragged across the sand like legs. One almost reached his shelter. He stayed quiet until it passed. The planet was alive in ways he could not understand. Everything wanted to kill him. Day 20. The 20th day began with fire in the sky. Jason woke to the sound of thunder, but when he stepped outside, he saw burning streaks raining down. Pieces of metal fell from the clouds, slamming into the ground. He grabbed the scanner. Object identified, starship debris. Not human design. Jason's heart raced. Aliens. Not the hunters, not the moving trees. Something else. He followed the smoke. In the distance, across the canyon, a piece of alien wreckage burned. He saw movement near it, shapes crawling out of the fire. They were not the six-legged hunters. They stood on two legs, tall and armored. Their skin shimmered like metal. Jason crouched behind a rock, watching. His breath came fast. His hand gripped the alien blade. He whispered, "If they're alive, maybe they shot down the horizon." One of the tall figures turned its head. Its helmet glowed bright blue. The scanner beeped. Warning. Hostile life forms detected. Approaching. Jason ducked lower. His heart pounded. He thought, I'm not alone anymore. But maybe that's worse. Jason hides in the rocks, staring at the new alien survivors. He does not know if they are enemies, or if he is their next hunt. He whispers into the recorder. Day 20. New visitors. I don't know if I'll survive day 21. Jason Carter pressed himself flat against the rock. Below, the alien survivors moved around their burning wreckage. Their tall bodies gleamed like living metal. Each carried weapons that looked grown, not built. He watched as one knelt over the wreckage and pulled out a glowing shard. Another pointed toward the canyon. Their movements were sharp, fast, and military. Jason whispered, "They're soldiers." The scanner beeped in his ear. Warning. Unknown signals. Power level, high. Jason crawled backward. His suit made a faint scrape against stone. One alien's head snapped toward him. Its helmet pulsed blue. Jason froze. The alien raised an arm. A beam of light shot past Jason, striking the rock where his head had been. Jason bolted. He scrambled across the canyon floor, his heart pounding. More beams cut through the air, burning holes in the rock. He dove into cover and gripped the alien blade he carried. He whispered to himself, "They killed the horizon. I can't let them find me." Day 22. Jason spent the night hiding in the canyon. He barely slept. The alien soldiers searched the area with glowing drones. Their voices were strange, like steel grinding. At dawn, the soldiers pulled back to their wreckage. Jason climbed higher into the cliffs. He saw smoke rising from their camp. For hours, he watched them. They set up machines, scanning the sky. He realized something important: they were stranded, just like him. But unlike him, they were not alone. Day 25. Jason tested the alien weapon against the canyon walls. He had learned to swing it in silence. When active, the blue blade hummed with power. It could cut stone, bone, anything. He told himself, "If they find me, I won't run again." That night, he returned to his shelter. On the cliff wall, he marked, Day 25. The scratches in the stone were uneven, but they were proof. He was still alive. Day 28. Jason hunted lizards near the river. While skinning one, he heard voices. He froze. Not alien voices. Human. I swear I saw him move that way. Jason's breath caught. He turned slowly. Across the canyon floor, 3 figures in human suits walked, carrying rifles. He whispered, "Impossible." But when he scanned, the display read, "Life signs detected, unknown. Signals distorted." The humans looked wrong. Their movements were stiff. Their helmets flickered with blue light. Jason understood. They weren't survivors. They were puppets. Day 30. The puppet humans searched the canyon, their glowing helmets scanning every crack. Jason hid under a ledge, holding his pistol tight. One passed so close he could hear the hiss of its suit. Its voice was broken, repeating the same words. Target. Find. Target. Find. Jason's stomach turned. The alien soldiers had made copies, using human bodies. When the puppets left, Jason collapsed against the stone. He whispered, "They want me next." Day 33. Jason set traps near his shelter. He used sharp stone, wire from his kit, and bait. That night, one puppet stepped inside. The trap snapped. The puppet fell, its helmet cracking open. Inside was no human face. Instead, black liquid moved, twisting like smoke. Jason burned it with the alien blade. The liquid screamed as it died. His hands shook. He whispered, "They don't just kill. They take. They wear us." Day 37. The sky turned black at noon. A storm rolled in, carrying lightning that struck like bombs. Jason ran to the canyon and hid. From the cliffs, he saw the alien soldiers too. They were not gods. They struggled in the storm, shielding their machines. For the first time, Jason felt a spark of hope. This planet hated them too. Day 40. Jason carved another mark into the canyon wall. 40 days. He stood at the cliff edge, staring at the alien camp. Their drones circled like vultures. Their puppet humans marched below. He raised the alien blade, its blue glow cutting through the dark. He whispered, "You shot down my ship. You killed my people. You won't take me." The video would cut here, Jason's eyes burning with determination, the alien army growing in the distance. Jason prepares to strike back. The war for survival is no longer just against the planet. It is against the soldiers who brought him here. He records. Day 40. I am not prey anymore. From now on, I fight. Jason Carter no longer ran. He hunted. For 40 days, he had survived like prey, hiding in caves, eating scraps, and praying the aliens would not find him. But after what he saw, their puppet humans, their glowing machines, something inside him snapped. Jason whispered into his recorder. Day 41. They think I'm weak. They think I'll break. They're wrong. It's time to fight back. Day 42. Jason studied the alien soldiers from the cliffs. Their camp was full of machines, glowing towers that hummed, drones that circled in the air, and cages where puppet humans stood like broken dolls. He felt anger burn in his chest. They killed the horizon. They turned humans into puppets. If I do nothing, I'll be next. He scouted the canyon at night, marking weak spots. He noticed the drones followed strict patterns, sweeping the ground every 20 seconds. He counted. He planned. Day 45. Jason built his first weapon. He broke down scrap metal from the escape pod, sharpened it into spikes, and set them inside the canyon paths. That night, one drone passed overhead. Jason hurled a stone at it. The drone turned, scanning, and drifted straight into his trap. The spikes pierced its shell. Sparks lit the night. The machine crashed into the sand, broken. Jason grabbed it and dragged it back to his shelter. He pulled out its glowing core. It pulsed like a heartbeat. His scanner beeped. Power source, usable. Energy compatible with alien weapon. Jason smiled for the first time in weeks. Day 50. By the 50th day, Jason had grown lean, hard, and silent. He used the alien blade with confidence. He set traps across the canyon. He knew when the lizards hunted, when the black trees moved, and when the aliens surged. He had turned the planet's dangers into his own tools. One night, a puppet human stumbled into his trap. Jason slashed it down, burning the black liquid inside. He looked into its flickering helmet and whispered, "You were one of my people." Not anymore. Day 55. Jason struck at the alien camp for the first time. He waited until night, when the two moons rose. He crept down the canyon with the alien blade glowing faint blue. The drones hummed overhead, but Jason timed his steps between their sweeps. At the edge of the camp, he hurled a rock at one of the humming towers. Sparks burst. Alarms blared. The soldiers rushed toward it. Jason ran to the cages. He found two puppet humans inside. Their helmets flickered with blue light, their bodies twitching like broken machines. "Not human anymore," Jason whispered. His stomach twisted, but he knew what he had to do. He raised the alien blade and ended their suffering. The soldiers turned. Jason sprinted into the night, their beams of light burning the ground behind him. He reached the cliffs, dove into cover, and listened to their roars echo in the dark. His chest heaved with exhaustion, but his eyes burned with fire. "Day 55, he said into the recorder. "I hit them. I hurt them. They know I exist now." Day 60. The aliens responded with fury. Drones filled the skies. Soldiers swept the canyon with strange dogs made of metal and bone. Jason stayed ahead by moving every night. He slept little, ate less, but his traps claimed more machines. Each time he pulled out a glowing core, his power grew. He fused one into his pistol. The weapon now fired blue bursts that burned through stone. For the first time, Jason had real firepower. Day 66. The hunters came. Not the six-legged beasts from the first days. These were worse. Massive creatures, armored in bone, unleashed by the alien soldiers like war dogs. Jason lured one into the canyon. He ran through the sharp rocks, his steps careful, his traps ready. The beast charged after him, its claws shaking the ground. At the last moment, Jason leapt aside. The creature slammed into the spike pit he had dug. Its roar shook the cliffs, then faded into silence. Jason stood over it, chest heaving. Blood dripped from his arm, but he was alive. He whispered, "You're not the only hunter anymore." Day 70. On the 70th day, Jason stood at the cliff edge. Below, the alien camp burned with blue light. Their soldiers shouted in metallic voices. Their machines swarmed like insects. Jason raised his alien blade in one hand and his upgraded pistol in the other. His beard was rough, his face hollow, but his eyes burned with steel. He spoke into the recorder. Day 70. I am one man. They are an army. But I know this now, they bleed. And if they bleed, I can win. The camera would cut here, holding Jason's defiant stance against the alien army below. Jason no longer hides. The war has begun. Jason Carter had survived 70 days on the hostile planet. He was no longer the broken man who crawled from the escape pod. He was lean, scarred, and burning with fury. For 70 days, the aliens hunted him. Now, he would hunt them. Day 72. Jason struck at dawn. He ambushed two alien soldiers near the canyon, using his upgraded pistol. Blue bursts ripped through their armor. Their bodies collapsed, steaming. For the first time, Jason saw fear in the others. They were not untouchable gods. They could die. He whispered into the recorder. Day 72. They know my name now. They know a human fights back. Day 75. Jason raided their camp again. He used the storm as cover, lightning splitting the sky while he slipped between the machines. He planted cores he had turned into bombs. The blasts shook the canyon. Towers fell. Drones burned. The aliens roared in fury. Jason escaped into the hills, laughing through blood and smoke. Day 80. The aliens unleashed everything. Puppets marched in endless waves. War beasts prowled the cliffs. Machines scanned every shadow. Jason fought like a ghost. He struck, vanished, and struck again. Traps snapped. Explosions thundered. The canyon turned into a battlefield. Each night, Jason carved another mark into the rock. By day 80, the wall of his shelter was full of scratches, proof of his war. Day 85. Jason found something new. Deep in the wreckage of their ship, he uncovered a chamber filled with glowing pods. Inside floated human bodies, frozen, but alive. His hands shook. Survivors. But the aliens had wired them with black liquid, preparing to turn them into puppets. Jason's rage burned hotter than ever. He swore to himself, "I will not let this happen." Day 90. The final plan formed. Jason would burn their machines, free the humans, and end this war. He gathered every core, every trap, every weapon he had built. He mapped their patrols. He studied their routines. This would not be survival. This would be war. Day 95. Jason attacked at night. He struck the camp with everything: explosives hidden in the sand, energy bursts from the pistol, and the alien blade cutting through armor like fire through paper. The aliens screamed. Their drones fell. Their towers collapsed. The canyon glowed with blue fire. Jason stormed the chamber and smashed the pods open. The frozen humans gasped, alive, confused, but free. Move. Jason shouted. Run. For the first time, he was not alone. Day 98. The aliens fought back with their leader, a massive soldier twice the size of the others, clad in black armor. Its voice shook the ground as it spoke in their grinding tongue. Jason faced it in the burning canyon. His pistol fired until it hissed empty. The alien blade clashed against the giant's weapon, sparks lighting the night. The giant roared, slamming Jason into the ground. Pain shot through his chest. But Jason refused to give up. He grabbed a glowing core, jammed it into the giant's chest, and pressed the trigger. The explosion tore the leader apart. Jason staggered to his feet, smoke rising from his armor. He whispered. Day 98. Their leader is dead. The war is ending. Day 100. The canyon was silent. The towers were rubble. The soldiers were gone or dead. The puppets had burned away. Jason stood on the cliff with the rescued survivors behind him. The red sky glowed as the suns rose. His suit whispered. Distress signal ready. Beacon active. For the first time, a faint human signal answered in the distance. Rescue ships. Jason looked at the survivors, then at the alien ruins below. He raised his recorder one last time. Day 100. I came here alone. I was prey. I became the hunter. Humanity is not weak. Humanity fights. Humanity survives. He shut off the recorder. He looked at the sky, waiting for rescue. The camera would cut here: Jason Carter standing tall, scarred but unbroken, the human flag raised in his heart even on an alien world. The beacon calls. But who will answer first, humans, or something else?